And at the end of the day, who's bigger, who's smaller, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Today, we're diving into advanced micro devices, ticker symbol AMD. A lot has happened with AMD over the years, and they're about to explode in 2025. First off, AMD is a $200 billion company by market cap. It's down about 15% in 2024 after a massive run in 2020. Despite the dip, AMD remains a juggernaut in the semiconductor space.
The key for us is, are we putting out new technology? Are we putting out technology that is changing the world? Are we helping solve some of the world's most important problems? Those are really, really important.
Now let's put things into perspective. AMD's main competitor, Nvidia, is over 16 times more valuable. And that's understandable given how Nvidia dominates the market. But what that tells us is that there's still massive room for AMD to grow as they work to close the gap.
Blackwell is not a chip. Blackwell is the name of a platform. People think we make GPUs, and we do, but GPUs don't look the way they used to. This is Hopper. Hopper changed the world. The rate at which we're advancing computing is insane, and it's still not fast enough, so we built another chip.
AMD's revenue is a key highlight. It has nearly quadrupled over the past few years, jumping from $6.5 billion to close to $25 billion, leading up to the past 2 years, which were the best years of the company. The price to sales ratio is high at 8.3, but in the AI tech space, high multiples are the norm. And compared to earlier this year when it was trading at over 12, it's actually trading at a discount right now. Forward price to earnings and price to book ratios are both near their 52-week lows, but their price to earning growth ratio is near the top 25% of the industry. Even with this year's price drop, AMD still is a long-term solid play in the AI and semiconductor space.
Now, when we think about AI, it really is about choosing the right compute for the right application. So when you look at all of these compute needs, we certainly have the best portfolio in the industry to address end-to-end AI.
So what has AMD done to set itself up for success? 3 main things. The AI boom. High-end graphics cards like the MI300X generate significant revenue.
Today, I'm very excited to launch MI325X, our next generation Instinct accelerator with leadership generative AI performance.
AMD has captured a large portion of the market in the data center space, even surpassing Intel in data center sales this year.
And one of the things that's very special about 5th Gen EPYC is we actually thought about it from the architectural standpoint in terms of how do we build the industry's broadest portfolio of CPUs that both covers all of the new cloud workloads as well as all of the important enterprise workloads.
And speaking of surpassing Intel, AMD's CPUs offer better performance and lower prices compared to Intel, not to mention their recent struggles with producing high-end chips.
At AMD, we love gaming. Today, I'm excited to show you what's next for PC gaming with Ryzen. Our new Ryzen 9000 CPUs are the world's fastest consumer PC processors.
Moving on to management, the company went through a major turnaround when Lisa Su took control of the company in 2014. Under her leadership, she recorrected AMD from its death spiral into what it is today. With a background in electrical engineering, a leader who is actually passionate about their products makes a much stronger foundation of a company. Now back to competition, AMD has often been seen as the second best. In the CPU market, they were often regarded as second to Intel. Now that they've passed Intel, the new top dog is Nvidia.
Nvidia is seen as the dominant force in AI right now, and AMD is widely considered the next best option. Is that good enough for you? Do you like being seen as the underdog?
I wouldn't call it a like or dislike. What I would say is, AMD has had a history of doing amazing things. And from that standpoint, we've always been in this place where we haven't necessarily had the same amount of people that other larger companies have, but we've certainly punched well above our weight in certain terms of technology capability, in terms of impact on the industry.
In the GPU market, AMD is still lagging behind. Nvidia is far more sophisticated and controls a significant portion of the market share. If they lose big customers to Nvidia or Intel, it could significantly hurt AMD's bottom line.
The key for us is, are we putting out new technology? Are we putting out technology that is changing the world? Are we helping solve some of the world's most important problems? Those are really, really important. And at the end of the day, you know, who's bigger, who's smaller, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Plus, natural disasters or geopolitical issues impacting TSMC's facilities could disrupt their supplies in the future. Speaking of TSMC, that is one advantage AMD used to pass Intel, their fabless business model. They design the chips, but they leave the manufacturing to TSMC. This allows AMD to focus entirely on making the best products possible and leaving the fabrication to the experts. TSMC is even building a semiconductor hub in Arizona, which could lead to more stable and cheaper production for AMD in the future.
But to go back to my question, will you be able to make your most advanced chips in the United States?
We will.
And that will be in 5 years?
I would say in the next 3 to 5 years, you'll start seeing the most advanced chips.
You
here.
move that forward 3 years. I like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in Arizona right now, I mean, Arizona is like the center of some of the most advanced chips in the country, and we're getting our first chips off the line, and they're looking quite good.
AMD's share price has risen over 10 times this decade, but down 35% from its all-time high. This makes AMD a high volatility investment. If you're in it for the long term, there's potential for significant growth as they continue expanding. 70% of AMD is owned by big institutions. This creates high liquidity and can push the stock's value up. Analyst ratings have this stock at a strong buy across the board, with price targets upwards of 50% shift and some estimates that this will skyrocket to new all-time highs.
In addition to Microsoft, we're also working with all of the leading software developers, including Adobe, Epic Games, SolidWorks, Sony, Zoom, and many others to accelerate the adoption of AI-enabled PC apps. And by the end of 2024, we're on track to have more than 150 ISVs developing for AMD AI platforms across content creation, consumer, gaming, and productivity applications.
So what's the bottom line? AMD's already a tech giant, but there's still room to grow. If you believe the stock is oversold, possibly to tax loss harvesting in 2024, then picking it up under $140 would be a smart move. With AI demand and AMD's strong position in personal computing, they're guaranteeing themselves a future as a top dog in the tech world. So what do you think? Is AMD going to close the gap, or are they always going to be second best in the tech world? Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.